everybody, it is your boy Skinny Moose. We tried to record last night, it did not go through too well. Fat Squirrel was asleep. I have to go ahead and record and get this done. Fat Squirrel will be bringing in H2O. I will be with him. I am bringing y'all some ICW NHB 40 from Saturday, January 21st, 2023. Mr. Danny DeMano himself had it go on. So it is Eric Dillinger versus Akira. As always, the gatekeeper comes out as usual with his cowl on his head and his mask on. Really, I like the demon look or the persona or whatever he comes out with. Eric does a lot of his work in the Midwest, which is probably why I really didn't know who he was. So while Larry Legend is introducing Eric, Akira grabs him from the back and then does a spine buster. So I was kind of unexpected. I wasn't expecting Akira to do that. And then Akira goes for a waist lock, and Akira runs around, then jumps at Eric, throws him up and over the top ropes, putting him through a bridge door. I'm not for sure who made this bridge door or what, but I do know Akira went through it. They got back in the ring, and Eric hits Akira in the head with a sign and then goes for a pin. Akira kicks out. Well, it was really a different match than I'm used to seeing between them two. I mean, of course, I know Akira more, which is something that I'm not used to seeing Akira do. Akira grabs a knife and starts stabbing Eric in the head and then in the mouth. That was actually well played. I'm used to seeing Akira flip out and do death matches and stuff, which of course y'all know that. Eric stabs Akira in the head with a knife. So basically, Akira puts Eric on the platform and then does a brain buster and the death penalty, and he wins the match. And then it's Tommy Vendetta versus Crowbar. Now, this is one that I really liked and I really thought was, it was really entertaining for me. Crowbar used to be in WCW. He's a 31-year veteran and he's been all over the place. Tommy does a waist lock on Crowbar and then tries to suplex. Crowbar hangs onto the chains. They get out of the ring and Crowbar heads to the back. Tommy follows and brings him back to the front, puts him in the chair. Tommy climbs onto another chair and hits Crowbar 10 times in the head. I was not expecting that. But Tommy Vendetta is really one of my, he's one of my sleepers. Like, a lot of people, I call him one of my sleepers. I don't really sleep on him, but a lot of people that I know actually sleep on Tommy. So, I call him one of my sleeping buddies. I really like Tommy, though. He's, down to earth. Tommy grabs a bundle of tubes and goes to hit Crowbar. And then Crowbar kicks him in the stomach. Crowbar grabs a bundle of tubes and hits Crowbar and says, "That felt really good." He's never really done death matches. So with that being said, Crowbar has done hardcore matches and stuff, but he's never really done like light tubes, and I don't think he's really done like anything that's more advanced. So after he does that, Crowbar goes around under the ring and he's looking for more light tubes and more deadly stuff. Crowbar puts Tommy on the platform and then does a hurricanrana and goes for a pin. Tommy kicks out. Now, keep in mind, this man's like, I want to say between 6 foot and 6'2". And for this man's age, not going to mold or nothing, but this man can move and he does a perfect hurricanrana. Well, to me, he does, and I'm like, dude. Crowbar brings a door in, sets it up in the corner. Tommy puts Crowbar on his shoulders and does a Death Valley driver and puts Tommy through the door. So, basically, when Crowbar does the Death Valley driver and puts Tommy through the door, that was actually really good. And Crowbar grabs the little color builders and pours them in the ring, and Tommy gets pissed off and goes off. So Tommy Vendetta's getting up. Crowbar's already up. Crowbar grabs the little builders, and he's over here pouring them out. And Tommy Vendetta hears it. He's like, I'm like, uh-oh. So Tommy does a huge power driver, goes for a pin, and wins that match. So it was a good match. If you would like to see more of it, of course, go check it out on IWTV.com. Bobby Beverly versus Jeff Cannonball. They start out looking at each other for a minute, and then Cannonball swings. Beverly ducks and tries to pick up Cannonball. Cannonball just stands there, then hits the Bev. Cannonball tosses Bobby through a barbed wire door. Cannonball grabs a bundle of tubes, and Bobby tosses Jeff into the ropes, then does a running X handle and breaks the tube. So that was well executed. That was well good, and something that typically I wasn't really expecting. But they get out of the ring, and Bobby starts stabbing a light tube into Cannonball's head. Cannonball smashes Bobby's head into the wall, then runs at Bobby. Bobby moves, and Cannonball hits the wall. So basically, Cannonball had the match. that part of the match where he smashes his head. And then he goes to run and hit Beverly's head into the wall, and Beverly moves. They get in the second row, and then they start throwing a chair at each other. One single chair, they're just throwing it back and forth on one another. And it was really unexpected. Like, I'm like, y'all got all these other chairs. Why don't y'all throw them at each other? But it was really funny to me. I'm like, this is something that you don't see on the day. Like, Bobby puts Cannonball in a chair and starts smacking him. And then Jeff comes back and starts smacking Bobby. And then Cannonball does Around the World. So if you don't know what Around the World is, it's when somebody puts you in a chair and runs around the ring and then knocks you out of the chair. Normally it's like a wrestler or maybe a manager. Jeff puts a door in their corner. Bobby grabs and hits Jeff with light tubes. Cito suplex. Jeff fights out and goes to the corner. That has Bobby suplex, does a Cito suplex to the mousetrap door and head hooks. Cannonball does a DDT, goes for the pin, and wins that match. That match was a little confusing and fucking. That match was one match for me. But I will, of course, if y'all want it, I can give y'all the update. But I got a little something to tell y'all after this. No Diamond Cutter versus Dr. Reactic. Neil didn't bring out Bob. I'm not for sure what happened to Bob. I haven't seen Bob in a while. Hopefully Bob's okay. They fight for a little bit. Dr. Reactic gets out of the ring, and Neil jumps through the ropes into Dr. Reactic. So, it's not the ropes, it's the chains. But, you know, Neil's a little small guy, and he just whoosh, and hits Reactic. Neil opens up a pack of skewers, and Dr. Reactic throws Neil into the ring post and then into the wall. Now, keep in mind, Neil's a little small guy, but that man can take some pain. And he just gets slung into the ring post and then into the wall. And I'm like, you just toss a Neil around like he's paper. Reactic puts Neil in the chair, then does a running cannonball and knocks Neil out of the chair and gets on commentary with struggles and starts talking. Then Neil attacks Dr. Reactic with a carpet strip, and Neil gets on commentary. So Dr. Reactic's all about commentary. He's been on it a couple of times. I like that. It was unexpected. So Dr. Reactic gets in the ring. Neil Diamond Cutter gets onto the steps, and Dr. Reactic attacks Neil, laying Neil's stomach on the chains, then grabs light tubes and puts them in the back of Neil's shirt. Neil Diamond Cutter's shirt. Dr. Reactic climbs on the platform and jumps off, breaking the tubes into Neil's back. So basically, Neil's coming up on the steps. Dr. Reactic attacks him and then lays his stomach like on the chains, and then he has like a regular T-shirt on, not like a muscle shirt tank top. And Dr. Reactic puts the tubes back there and climbs on the platform and jumps off, breaking these tubes into poor Neil's back. And then Dr. Reactic goes for a pin, and he gets real mad. No, I starts arguing with the referee, Shiny Shoe. Neil picks up some skewers, and when Dr. Reactic turns around, Neil starts stabbing him in the knee and then in the head. Doc gets stabbed in the head, he gets stabbed in the knee. He's squalling. I mean, that shit hurts. I went and bought some skewers, and I could have stabbed myself with one in the hand, and I'm like, ow! Then Neil Diamond Cutter reloads and puts a bunch more in Dr. Reactic's head. Now, they're not actually made for that. They're good when you cook on a grill and stuff. Dr. Reactic gets out of the ring, sets up 3 chairs, and then tosses Neil out of the ring. And Neil Diamond Cutter puts a chair, and Neil puts in a chair on Dr. Reactic, gets back in the ring and grabs a trash can, and then climbs the second chains. So, you know, Dr. Reactic's going to have a trash can. So he grabs it, gets on the second chains, and the referee helps Dr. Reactic put the trash can on his head. So he puts it on like he normally does, and then he gets ready to jump off. And Neil Diamond Cutter grabs a chair, the same chair he was sitting in, of course, and then throws it at Dr. Reactic while he has the trash can on his head. Neil gets out of the ring and knocks Dr. Reactic onto the floor. Neil gets into the ring and knocks Dr. Reactic onto the floor. Now, the floor is concrete. So when he hits the floor, you know, obviously, it's going to, like I said, he hits the concrete floor, and then he's in the trash can. So I thought it knocked the man out. It was Mittens and the referee checking on him. I'm not for sure. I think Larry was there, and I mean, like, literally right there in front of Dr. R. So I'm not for sure, though. Neil gets back. Neil tosses Dr. R back into the ring, lays light tubes in the middle of the ring, and then Neil gets back into the ring, and he lays light tubes in the middle of the ring, puts Dr. Reactic on his shoulders, and then does a Death Valley driver onto the tubes. Then he does a Honey Badger salt, puts more tubes on Dr. Reactic, and then climbs the corner. The corner without the platform. Now, just the corner. Gives him a salute and then does a honey badger splash and wins. Now that fucking Eric Ryan versus Sakuda match. We gotta talk about it. So, Sakuda makes his debut in the chain. That was his first time making his way into ICW. So the ring is covered in broken flower pots. Now, that's Ray Ryan's thing right there. I got a lot of what I think is highlights of this match. So they link up for a bit, and then Ryan snaps Sakuda over and puts him in a choking-like position and starts choking Sakuda, and then starts cutting his forehead. So he puts him in like a choking-like position, and then starts cutting his forehead and rubbing his face in the flower vase. So like, he's cutting his forehead, and then he's starts rubbing Sakuda's fucking face into this damn flower vases. Sakuda is already bleeding. Ryan grabs a bundle of tubes and starts swinging the tubes. Sakuda keeps dodging them, and then puts the tubes into Ryan and breaks them. Sakuda breaks a bundle over Ryan. So Sakuda's a little small guy. So he's dodging these hits. Finally, he shoves the light tubes into Ryan and breaks them. And then Sakuda breaks a bundle over Ryan. A separate bundle, of course. Over Ryan. Sakuda goes to the corner and grabs a towel, which has his 3 metal skewers. I got that one right. And then Ryan throws tubes at Sakuda and then goes for a pin, which is no luck. So when Sakuda gets knocked down, he lost his skewers. Eric grabs the metal skewers and puts them through both of Sakuda's cheeks. Then Ryan goes to stomp on Sakuda. He fights back. Ryan grabs the tubes and puts them into Sakuda's chest. Okay, that one, so I'm going to tell you like this. He grabs the metal skewers and he puts it through Sakuda's mouth. And then Sakuda couldn't even close his damn mouth. So Ryan goes to stomp on his head. Of course, you know that's his finisher. Sakuda actually fights this man back. And then Ryan just gets two, busts them over him. Sakuda puts Eric Ryan on the second rope. Then Sakuda climbs the platform and breaks the tubes over. Sakuda pulls out the metal skewer out of his face and knocks Ryan off, going for the pin. No luck. So, let me tell you something. These metal skewers are about like this. I mean, you can put them all the way through your mouth and still have about this man gets up onto the platform, breaks tubes over Ryan, and then just, I'm like, what? These deathmatch wrestlers are a different breed. So Sakuda puts tubes on Ryan and then grabs a bundle, climbs to the platform and does an ultraviolet cannonball and goes for a pin. No luck. Then Sakuda grabs a bundle of tubes and does a crucifix bomb, and he wins that. So that was a really good match. It was, I was expecting more weapons in the ring, but I took that ramp. Now, this match here, I personally enjoyed. A lot of people's might go against me, but I say that it was one of ICW's best matches, and this might be match of the year so far. Well, not so far, but it might take match of the year. It's Matt Tremont versus Hoodfoot in a bull rope match. So Tremont comes out with a bull rope around his neck, gets in the ring, starts shaking the bell, and tosses Hoodfoot the other end. Well, Hoodfoot agrees and hooks up with him. They get into a tug of war. Hoodfoot gets close to Tremont and then starts hitting Tremont. They start going blow for blow, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, these two big behemoths of meters are blowing each other's face. Hoodfoot tries putting Tremont through a barbed wire door. Tremont reverses it and puts Hoodfoot to the door. Hoodfoot's already bleeding. I mean, these men has been in it for, they got scar tissue and they're going to bleed easily. Tremont throws Hoodfoot out of the ring. They fight for a minute while Tremont is inside the ring and Hoodfoot's on the outside. So after Tremont throws him out, Tremont still got the rope and like I said, Hoodfoot's down here. Basically down here. And Tremont's up here, so they're fighting. Hoodfoot's only been doing death matches for 2 years. And if you look up Mo Atlas or Hoodfoot, you're going to see his body looks like he's been in it for 10, 15, 20 years. Hoodfoot gets back in the ring and they start smacking each other. Tremont's busted wide open by now, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he's bleeding from this scar. Tremont breaks a bundle of tubes. Tremont breaks a bundle of tubes over Hoodfoot's back. Tremont is losing a lot of blood. So, basically, Tremont's bleeding. He's leaking all over these light tubes he was laying on. He's standing up and he's just, face is just pouring the blood. So, if you like bloody matches and you like a lot of blood, this would be your match. So Tremont climbs to the platform, steps on the second chain. Hoodfoot busts some light tubes over Tremont's back, and then puts a bundle below him and rips Tremont off, busting his face onto the bundle of tubes. So Tremont was getting ready to climb up, I'm guessing, to the third rope, second chain, third chain, and do like some kind of move, and Hoodfoot's like, no, you do not. Busts these tubes over the man's back and then just rips him off. And when he does, his whole face, his whole body, face plants, like belly flops. And oh god, that didn't help. And then a little later on into the match, they're both laid out in the middle of the ring. They both get up when the referee gets to a 9 count. Within that time limit, within them 9 seconds, Tremont has made a puddle of blood. So before this, it was like something like this. Now, when the referee, she's counting, and by the 9 count, they both up at the same time. But this puddle of blood is like this, that Tremont's laying in. And when they zoom it in, you can just see, like, and it's just, oh my. Then they start trading blows once again. So Hoodfoot takes over and starts swinging at headbutt. But that don't work too well, because both of their heads are covered in blood. So, I mean, like, it's so bloody, it's like they just, I don't know, like, maybe they went and slaughtered a couple of pigs and they just was standing under it. Or maybe they, let me reference when Carrie got the pig blood poured on her, if y'all ever seen that movie. So Hoodfoot gives Tremont a brainbuster. Tremont starts hitting Hoodfoot with the cowbell. Hoodfoot picks up Tremont, he escapes, and shoves Hoodfoot into the light tubes wedged in the corner of the ring. Tremont wins, leaking blood everywhere. Tremont gives Hoodfoot the bull rope. So, out of respect, I'm guessing, or I'm not for sure, but we do know that they're friends, ladies and gentlemen, and so Hoodfoot gets the bull rope. Basically, you had to touch all 4 corners, if I'm not mistaken. So, John Wayne Murdoch versus Brandon Kurt with Casey Kurt in his corner. Let me tell you, that match, man, I was disappointed. It's not because it didn't go how I wanted. It was just, Murdoch done a lot of things that he even said that he done wrong. He didn't take Brandon too seriously. So they start at trash talking each other. Brandon goes to the corner and then he drops the mic. Then hits Murdoch with a bundle of tubes and starts stabbing him in the head with the tubes. So basically he says something about Murdoch's son. And then basically it's like, maybe it's the point, something about you're 10-0 against my wife, and my wife's 10-0 against you, because saying that Murdoch's always lost to Brandon's wife. And then Murdoch throws Kurt through a black shelf that's holding light tubes. I'm not for sure, like, what you would call it, but it has these light tubes. Murdoch drops Kurt on. Murdoch drops Kurt onto a whole box of tubes. And then Murdoch and Kurt starts breaking tubes over each other. Then Brandon flips and starts breaking all the tubes. All these kinds of tubes all over Murdoch. And then Murdoch then puts Brandon through a light tube door. And then Brandon lays down light tubes on Murdoch, then climbs the platform. Murdoch climbs up, does a super suplex off onto the light tubes. Murdoch does a deep self-destroyer going for a pin. Kurt kicks out. You know, between this part, I mean, I can't take nothing from Brandon. I like Brandon, I like Murdoch. When you go against Brandon, you always have to take this boy seriously. Anybody that's been in the ring with Brandon will tell you that. So Murdoch puts a chair on Brandon's head and then grabs another chair and gets ready to smash it. Casey steps in and stops it. Murdoch gives her a brain buster. So basically, what's going on here is Brandon's laid out in the ring. Murdoch puts a chair on to Brandon's head and grabs another one and get ready to smash it. Maybe he smashes Going. Casey's like, no, you ain't. So she gets in. Murdoch gives Kurt a submission. Kurt grabs the ref and shoves him, showing light. And then Brandon does a submission of his own, no luck. So basically, if Brandon didn't show the ref that he has tons of life, like what I mean by that was not pass out, Brandon would have passed out. Murdoch would have won the belt. So he had to show something. So then Brandon decides to set up 6 chairs and does a psychopath driver and wins the match. Alright, now ladies and gentlemen, there's a few things I would like to cover real quick. First of all, I took my notes onto my tablet. That's why I've been looking down and stuff. I do have dyslexia and a speech impediment. That's why a lot of my words don't come out too clear. But thank you everybody that has subbed, and thank you for everybody that has helped us grow our channel so far. When we get to 100 subs, we would like to give back to the first 100 subscribers that have subbed and been there for us. We would like to give away our merch to the first 100 subscribers completely free. All you would have to do is go and check out to our mailbox. That would be our way of giving back to y'all. Also, when we get to 50 subs, Fat Squirrel will be taking a bamboo skewer into his head. Also, I'm going to try to get a video up. Well, after this H2O with Fat Squirrel, I'm going to try to get a video up. With another video up with Fat Squirrel about Rise. Now, if you haven't seen Rise, they're over there in the United Kingdom. I will be covering the Outlaw Tournament, which has a lot of good men in it. And I'm not going to mention nothing because I want it to be a surprise for y'all guys. I will leave y'all with, there is a surprise in the Rise video that has a bunch of good wrestlers. Actually, I found out some news on Rise about 2 of the wrestlers that I will be explaining in the next video, of course. But, yeah, I hope y'all enjoy, and I will definitely be back. And we love making videos for y'all, and we actually do enjoy it, and I hope that y'all enjoy our content. Thank y'all, ladies and gentlemen.